Shares of Match Group down around 13% over the last 2 months, but the company sees tailwinds ahead as it gears up for the biggest cuffing season of all time. That's in quotes. Joining us now in an exclusive interview is Match Group America's CEO, Amarnath Thombre, to tell us all about this. Amarnath, great to speak with you. We've promised that you're going to tell everybody what this all means in terms of cuffing season, what it means for your business, and whether you're actually seeing observable increases in interest by your customers for, finding a relationship through the colder months.
Yeah, so throughout the pandemic, we've seen larger interest in intentionality and focus on long-term relationship. And as post-vaccinations, I think people first caught up with friends and family who they had not seen in a long time. And now, as we approach the holiday season, I think people are focusing on themselves and the most important search for them, which is what's the right partner for me.
And is there a seasonal aspect to it that you can see, or does it kind of get lost in the mix of what else is going on? Because obviously people are also arguably going out more than they had in the middle of the pandemic.
Yeah, it does. And as I said, like earlier, I think people focus on the things they missed. They got travel out of the way. They met their friends, family. And holiday season is always a strong season for us. And so this time we expect that to be very strong, given the pent-up need and demand for long-term relationships.
What are you seeing specifically around some of the COVID trends as we've seen reopening and people get vaccinated and now boosters? How is it changing the way they interact and date and match?
So one really interesting that we've seen is the use of video. So before the pandemic, there was hardly any usage of video. And as we launched video usage, we saw it pick up throughout the pandemic. And now what we've seen is this interesting phenomenon called hybrid dating. So what singles are doing is they first get on video to really get to know the person, to see if there's a spark. And then they want to be thoughtful about who they want to step out for. Because it's a pandemic going on. So they're first using the video to kind of focus on, okay, these are the people I'm interested in, and then they're going out and meeting only those people. So and they're realizing that as they've done that, this is a really effective way to use dating apps, and I expect this to continue even beyond the pandemic.
What does your research tell you, or just anecdotally, about roughly how many different apps a typical customer might be using at a given time? I just wonder how much you have to kind of surf to the next feature that maybe some other app might be offering, or even go out and look for other niche markets where you might be able to acquire one.
Yeah, so typically we've seen consumers use about 3 to 4 dating apps at any time on their phone, but they might be active on just one that they're really using extensively at any point in time.
Which of the apps are most popular? I see here in the notes you are very bullish on Hinge. Why Hinge as opposed to, say, Tinder, which has been such a hot growth area?
Yeah, I mean, Tinder is a very strong business for us, but lately what we've seen is Hinge is really becoming the app of choice for relationship-oriented millennials. And it's on track to double revenue this year, and it's seeing really strong growth and usage because of that appeal of like being this very intentional app in an environment where people are becoming more intentional, and it's showing up in the numbers.
What are the global trends? I know that, one of the key insights about the business was that, dating apps in different cultures actually cut somewhat differently. In other words, for many places, it was a unique ability for single people to kind of widen the potential group of partners that they might have. And how has that been developing over the years?
Yeah, so technology-wise, we see very common trends across the world. Like, so people like, for instance, swiping, the way the profile is laid out, and lately video. But where we see differences in culture is what they focus on in filtering down to the choices. So we adapt our apps in different cultures based on what is most important to singles in that particular geography or culture. And that's been a journey we've been on OkCupid, for instance, for the last 2 years.